Conditions have gone from bad to worse. The pandemic, civil unrest, kidnappings, broken leadership, mounting food and fuel shortages. We're talking about Haiti. UN human rights experts also coming down now on the U.S. expelling Haitian migrants and refugees, some now calling America's recent mass deportations a violation of international law. And with us this morning, again, is the editor-in-chief and the publisher of the Haitian Times, Vania. And Vania, as always, thanks for being with us. First of all, what is the current situation on the ground in Haiti? Because it seems like we are lurching from crisis to crisis, and yet when America changes its mind about something, for instance, on Capitol Hill, everybody forgets that Haiti is still in the middle of the crisis. What is the current crisis that we're dealing with right now on the ground?
You made an excellent point that there is still a very real ongoing crisis happening in the country. What we see right now is a number of compounding issues. So we are having issues where it's economic situations, there is political unrest, and then most importantly, now we see fuel shortages that are really affecting day-to-day life in Haiti. Everything from being able to access clean drinking water to mobile telecommunications to hospitals even being able to run. So now you see a situation where you have the violence that's going on, fuel shortages, political unrest. There is a food scarcity problem in Haiti that's rarely spoken about because of all of these other issues that are really putting everyone in a situation where it's calling for the Biden administration to rethink a lot of their policies in regard to Haitian migrants.
We still have 17 humanitarian workers there who were kidnapped. Do we have any idea what the status of negotiations is with freeing them?
We do know that the FBI has been in touch with the kidnappers as well as with Haitian National Police. They are still holding strong to their demands to receive $17 million ransom for these hostages. And one thing I want to highlight is that this is a particular change in the way that the Haitian community has viewed hostage situations. In the past, growing up in Haiti, it was a sin that you do not touch foreigners, you do not touch especially white people. And the fact that we see that this is what it's come to, I think is very indicative of where the country is politically and socially, and the extent that people are willing to take in order to survive.
Vanya, there was this report this week rather, from the UN condemning what it calls systemic mass deportations, condemning the U.S. for doing that. The UN cautions that expulsions without individualized evaluation violate international law. That being said, as a Haitian American, are you convinced that what the UN is saying about the U.S. is going to change anything in Haiti on the ground?
I really hope it does. And I hope it's not only what the UN is saying, but also the response from the diaspora. Biden, like Trump, rallied for the Haitian community during the election. We believed that his immigration policies would have been more favorable to Black and Brown immigrants. And that's the complete opposite of what we've seen. The disappointment in his response to the Haitian migrants, specifically at the border, is just completely disheartening because they were entitled for at least a hearing for asylum seeking. And I think it's really a point now where the US government needs to rethink their policy and what they categorize as people who can seek asylum in the country. And a lot of this is all compounded by the intense violence that's happening in the country. And from my understanding, that's not necessarily a criteria that America will take to host a person, but I think it's something that needs to be completely revisited.
Vanya, Alejandro Mayorkas, the Homeland Security Secretary, said that what happened with those customs officials on horseback whipping Haitians who were trying to cross the river into Texas in Del Rio, he said that that was outrageous and that they were going to get to the bottom of it. Does it take this long to get to the bottom, where you have videotape who shows who the people were on the horses trying to stop the Haitians from coming into the country, whipping them, and actually audio from one of them saying, "This is what you get when you're from that S-hole country"?
No, it doesn't take that long, and honestly, that was just, I think, a response to placate, people who were upset about what they saw, and with good reason. I mean, this is really just the type of imagery that plays a lot to some of the historical norms that we see in this country, and this should have been one of the first responses and one of the first things that they should have taken care of as far as holding those men accountable for the horrendous treatment that they were imposing on these migrants that were just looking for safety in another country.
So are you concerned now that Haiti is out of sight once again and out of mind?
Um, I am, especially as, the year progresses. Um, my concern is that there's going to be Haiti fatigue. We have seen this happen over the past couple of years after the earthquake, after a litany of hurricanes. And I feel like because all of these issues have been compounded in a very short amount of time, that the attention is going to be focused elsewhere. And it's just, Haiti being Haiti, which is really where I implore the Haitian diaspora to really work with the US government to try to figure out Haitian led solutions within Haiti. Because if we don't keep attention on this, it's simply just going to go away.
But that being said, what can you do that hasn't been done? Isn't some of this on, should be the good nature of American politicians to look at a bad situation and say, we can do something here? I mean, what more needs to happen to Haiti before the United States says we have to fix what is broken? We have to help fix what is broken.
Well, to be quite frank, I don't think it's the US government's responsibility to fix what's broken in Haiti. Yes, they have had a hand historically into bringing Haiti where it is currently. However, it's really the onus is on the Haitian government and its diaspora and her people within the country to figure out a way to come up with a solution, whether it's by engaging other people within the region, our supporters in the region, engaging more of the diaspora to come to these solutions, because what we're seeing is a playbook that's happening year after year and nothing has changed since in 30 years since Duvalier left the country. So I think, that the next step really is just more support within the community itself with each other, and to stop with this paternalistic idea that someone's going to come and save us, because that's not the reality.
But one thing that could change, Vanya, and I thank you very much for being with us, is the Homeland Security Secretary could discipline the people on the horsebacks, because we saw it with our eyes. Everybody from the president to the vice president and every office down below said, we don't like it. Solving that problem is something that will not take a legislative process. It is something that just says you're fired. Vanya Andre, the editor-in-chief of the Haitian Times. Vanya, as always, thanks very much for being with us.